Welcome back to the studio, Kelly. It's so nice to have you here. So this is Kelly with Touchwood Flooring in Edmonton, and you guys are really the premier hardwood flooring suppliers in Edmonton. And I just wanted to talk with you today a little bit about what sets you guys apart regarding your service, namely customer service. So tell me, where does customer service really begin at Touchwood Flooring?
Right as soon as that first phone call or walk into the showroom happens. We really pride ourselves on offering a white glove service to all of our clients. It's important. I think it begins before the project does, for sure. Making clients feel comfortable and feel like they're getting the right amount of information to make the right decisions for themselves.
Okay, so what does that look like? What does that initial phone call or conversation really look like?
So initially, it's just kind of qualifying them, figuring out who they are, their address, whereabouts in the city they live, what they're looking to do. Are they building a new house? Are they doing a renovation? Are they working with designers? Are they kind of doing this themselves? Feeling out what their specific needs are going to be. Sometimes they come right on and tell us, and that makes it very easy and nice, but sometimes they're not 100% sure. So you just want to make sure that you're giving them the right information and leading them in a direction that they're going to be happy and comfortable with once the job is complete.
Right. So we're talking about selection of the type of flooring, manufacturer, colors, all of that stuff. And do you have a set questionnaire or process that you go through to learn more about what the customer's needs are so you can fit the right product to them? Because literally there are thousands of different choices that you have. So how do you go about that?
Yeah, so there's definitely a process we kind of like to follow, and it's just asking the simple questions like I had mentioned. Is this a reno or a new build? Are you working with a designer or not? But then past that, it's kind of what are the color of cabinets you're going with? Do you have samples of those cabinets? Do you have paint selections made? Do you have samples of those paints? And if you can bring all of those in to help with the decision, it goes a lot easier. I like to think I have a little bit of an idea of what clashes and what doesn't. I'm definitely no expert in interior design by any means, but we've seen a lot of these projects before, so we can kind of help out and see what will work and won't work. And then beyond that, it's kind of just based on whatever client walks in the door and having a thoughtful and personal conversation with them, right? Everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, after that conversation happens and you've qualified and you understand, more along what their needs are, what's the next step in the process for you, and how are you serving that customer's needs?
Yeah. So if they've made a selection, or a couple of selections sometimes,
sure,
then we want to go and see their space. And what we'll do is we'll go in, hopefully they can be there for this, and we'll take some measurements. We'll ask about any other details, vents, transitions, nosing, stairs, lots of detail in the flooring. So we'll make sure we have all of those bases covered and make sure that when we are able to present them with a quote, we have, 99% of that checked off, so that there's not going to be any surprises when we, present the final bill.
No, that's great, because, people want to know what's going on, what this project cost is going to be, and what they get for that. Right now, because you are a premium supplier, of course, your prices are not, bargain basement prices. They're not stuff you would get on a cheap laminate, right? So with that, that already excludes some customers. Let's be honest, right? So the customers that you are dealing with, they are paying for a higher level of service, right? So when you're in the installation phase, how does that look for somebody? Let's say they are already living in the house. How do you guys go above and beyond to make sure that time when you're in and you're, either tearing out old flooring or just installing new flooring, how do you make it as pleasant as possible?
Well, I know I've mentioned this before, Trevor. Our guys are the best. I trust them so much in clients' homes they keep it clean, right? Obviously throughout the day, especially in the wintertime, we have to cut in the home, but they're going to make sure they have vacuums attached to their saws. They're taking garbage out of the house every day. They're vacuuming the floor every day. They're wiping off some spaces, right? They're just going to make sure that it's comfortable for the client because they also respect the homeowner, right? And their home. We know that we're kind of invading your space, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that every client we work with understands, hey, we've done this before. We're going to make sure that everything's okay with you, and we're not going to make it the most difficult time of their lives, hopefully.
Yeah. And that's great because, I've had construction going on in my home when we're living there, and it's unpleasant, it's noisy, but in order to create an omelet, you have to crack a few eggs. I get it. 100%. Right? Now let's talk about after. So when you are completed, everything's cleaned up, everything's moved out, and you're revealing and doing the walk around with the customer, what is that process like? How are you revealing it to them? What are you showing them? What questions do they ask? And what does that handoff feel like?
Yeah. So lots of the time, especially in a renovation, they're going to see the floor finished before I do because they're living at the house and they're probably getting there before I do for the final walkthrough. But that helps because it gives them a little bit of time to go through. And if they do see some imperfections or deficiencies, then they're able to bring it up to me when I come over, and we can, assess what needs to be taken care of, what'll adjust itself. Sometimes for a quick example is the day after we install a set of stairs, there might be a little bit of squeaking in those stairs because the glue hasn't set up yet. But as soon as that glue sets up, your stairs are nice and firm. So yeah, there's different things that we like to go over and make sure that you're happy. At the end of the day, we care about the client's satisfaction. We want to make sure that they are happy with the selection they made. They're happy with the installation they made, or the installation we did, and the overall process was positive for them.
All right. So we've got a beautiful installation. Now aftercare. What happens afterwards? Let's say, what is your baseline workmanship warranty or anything like that? Let's go through that a little bit.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So we're a little bit different than a lot of the other stores. We offer 5-year installation warranty. So any installation errors made, if you find it a few years down the road, we're still going to cover it. But beyond that, like I said, we really care about our clients, and the clients we work with, we try and build more than just a client business relationship. We like to build personal relationships. Yeah. So when you have issues, we want to take care of you. We trust our installers so much, and they do such a great job that we rarely have callbacks. But if we do, we'll go out there, we'll help service, change boards, do some touch-ups, whatever's needed to make sure that, you're taken care of.
So we've got that, and we have the 5-year workmanship warranty. So you'll come in and you'll make sure that they're taken care of and Absolutely. Feel that you actually care about them. It's not just a transactional relationship because, people change out houses. So the floor that you did in that house, they may want in another house, yep. Right? And now let's talk about your manufacturers. You have some great relationships with your manufacturers because you do really good installation work. Because I've worked with a number of different customers like yourself who do installations, and they are a select few that get to install the premium products because of the quality of the workmanship. Yep. So with that, what kind of, warranties do you have, or any special arrangements that you've got with any other of your suppliers of hardwood and other products? How does that tie into the customer experience?
Yeah. So great question again. You're hitting the good questions out today. So for the majority of our suppliers, they're going to do their, 15-year light commercial warranty to 25-year residential warranty. And that's kind of the standard, right? And that'll cover stuff like delamination, any type of failure to that material. They're going to take care of it. Now, for the higher end products, Hackwood, for example, they actually on paper only really offer a 1-year warranty, because the thought process with that is after 1 year, your floor has gone through the 4 seasons. How it reacts is how it's going to last because of the craftsmanship of it. But because of who they are, Hackwood, and their core values, you're a client for life, right? If something happens down the road and they recognize that it's an error on their end, they're happy to help out with that, right? Now, that doesn't happen often, nearly never, but it is something that it may come up time again because of the climate we live in is so hostile, especially to wood floors.
Yeah, especially to wood floors. It's very dry here. Maybe not this July, sorry, exactly. But generally it's pretty dry here. Okay, no, that's great. So you've got great relationships with your suppliers, and really it's about ensuring that amazing customer experience all the way through. Yeah. Now, you recently purchased Touchwood Flooring a couple of years ago. And, what are some of your core values that you really believe in and care about, that you want the customers to know about you personally and about Touchwood Flooring?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honesty and integrity, making sure that we're not out here just to kind of get a buck from you, right? Lots of times some of these quotes can be we got to be a little bit flexible, especially in the preparation of a floor, right? So if I'm saying to you, hey, we need 20 bags of leveler to make sure that the floor we put on top of this substrate is going to last, but we only need 15 bags, well, that's going to be communicated to you. We're not going to just sit there and say, oh, yeah, we put 20 bags in. I know some companies will do that. And we just want to make sure that everything we do is honest. Mm-hmm. We communicate with you throughout the whole process. And we just want, the proof is in the pudding. When the job is done, we show you that everything is perfect. Yeah, we pride ourselves on an excellent process throughout, from your initial meeting with us to the final product. We want to build that relationship for life. And we think relationships are a huge part of the business, whether it's on the retail side or, B2B business. We just want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable in the whole process, because at the end of the day, we've talked about it before, we are invading your space, right? Especially in the renovations. So as comfortable as we can make it for you, that is something that we pride ourselves on. So, yeah. Thank
you so much, Kelly, for sharing with us today, and the people who are watching on your YouTube channel and wherever they see this. Guys, if you're looking for an outstanding flooring experience with Kelly, they provide a lot of different types of flooring. You have to go to their website and give them a call. Kelly from Touchwood Flooring, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Yeah. Thanks, Trevor. Come check us out.